Hello there. In this video I'm going to show you how you can create your own personalised charms using Fluid Designer for 3D printing. Here are some charms that can fit onto your bracelet, but we're actually in this video going to make these barrel shaped charms, which have also got a 4mm diameter hole on the inside. I'm going to make a charm with this Capricorn pattern on it, and on the other side of the object I'm going to fit a Herrington font letter A, and also a heart symbol as well. Now there's lots of other objects you could put on. You could put on this Christian cross, for example, a Greek pattern. You could just put hearts on it, or this Mayan symbol. Basically you can put anything onto the outside of your charm in a similar way as to what I'm going to show you. So if we go to Fluid Designer for 3D printing, I'm going to use this 4mm charm object, which has been pre-built for you. And to that, I'm actually going to add not Blackadder, sorry. I'm going to add a Herrington font. So I'm going to add this letter A onto the outside of the charm. I'm also going to add a heart pattern. So if I go to hearts, I could add any one of these hearts to the outside of the charm, but I'm going to add this one here, 005. And I'm also going to, in this case, add a astrological zodiac symbol, and I'm going to add the Capricorn one, so I'm going to add this object as well. So those are the objects I'm going to combine to place on my charm. So if I go back to the charms folder, okay, so I'm going to use this 4mm charm here. So if I just drag and drop that onto the workspace, and I'll just switch on screencast key, so any key presses I make should be displayed down here. Now this pre-built object, if I just remove the bevel object here, it's a curve or a combination of curves which have been joined together for you, and you can apply thickness to this. So let's see, the default cross section was 1 by 1, a square sort of cross section, so that's 1mm by 1mm there. And it's got a 4mm hole at the top for you, and you can change the cross section to rounded. So I'm going to change it to a cross section diameter of 1. That gives it a rounded cross section of 1mm. So let's say this is a parametric smart object. So if you go view from the front, so that's what it's going to look like, and we can see what the length of this. It's only a centimetre long. But something that we are going to do is to place objects around the outside of this. Now, in order to place objects around the outside, we need somewhere to locate them. So there is this object over here, the centre of the charm. So that's an important object to use here. So if I go to view and top view, now you can't see what centre of charm is at the moment, but if I press the tab key, essentially that is the outline of a circle. I know it looks like a square, but that's just because we're in edit mode. That object is in fact a NURB circle, and we're going to wrap our Capricorn pattern and heart pattern and Herrington font around this object. And as you can see, it's just located in the center of the charm outer section there. So there'll be some overlap, in other words. So we're going to use that object. So yeah, let's start adding objects to this now. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a heart, I think. So if I go back to the heart folder, so I'm going to add this heart 005, and the way we do it is we go to File and Append. Just go up through the menu system until you get to the Groups folder, and look for the hearts pattern folder, and I want 005, and I want the object, I want heart 005, and I append that from the library. Now make sure you click on it to select it. Now clearly that's not in the right orientation at the moment, so if I press R on the keyboard, X on the keyboard to limit the rotation to the X axis, and if I type 90 degrees, that will rotate it to the right orientation. And if I view that from the front now, I need to scale this down, so it's S on the keyboard for scale, and I'll leave it at that size. Now whenever you're scaling Fluid Designer, you must always immediately do Control A and apply the scale, and notice the thickness is reapplied as you do that. Now what we want to do is to attach this or locate it on the outside of this charm, and we do that using a modifier, and we're going to curve this around this object, the center of charm. So we add a curve modifier, and the object that we want is the center of charm, and that will locate the heart on the center of the charm there, on the outside of it, but overlapping, and we need it to be overlapping because we need a solid object. Now one thing that has just done, if I just remove that, it's actually flipped the heart the wrong way round compared to the original. Now that's not important for the heart shape, but it is going to be important for the other objects that we're going to add. So I'll leave that heart as it is like that, and I'm now going to append a Herrington font. So go up through the menu system, go to Alphabets Herrington font. I want capital letter A, I want the object, so I just append that from the library. And again, this is the wrong orientation, so we do R on the keyboard, X on the keyboard, and 90 degrees, that will just rotate it there. If we just go to view and front, and if I do S for scale, I can scale this down, and always remember to do Control A and apply the scale, otherwise you won't know what the thickness is. Now if I simply use a curve modifier again and do this center of charm, one of the things it does is it flips my letter A the wrong way round from what it was originally. If you look there, you can see that the O in the A there is on the right hand side. If I do center of charm, it's flipped it onto the left hand side. Now you might be happy with that with the A, but you wouldn't want that with other letters. So how do we fix that? Well, if we go to view and top view, and if we just with the A highlighted, if we go into edit mode, and we need to highlight all of this object, and we can do that by pressing A on the keyboard. That will select all the control points. And what I want to do now, this is the Z axis coming upwards. So if I go back to top view again, if I do rotate Z and 180 degrees, I've just flipped that A around. Okay, if I show you over here, that's what I've done, is I've just flipped it completely around there. And if I come out of edit mode now and go back to modifiers and set my curve modifier to the center of the charm, you can see that the A is now the same orientation as it was originally in the Herrington fonts folder. So if you just go to Herrington fonts, here's the letter A. You can see that the O part of the A there, that bit, is on the right, which is what we want. I say that's quite an important point to make for certain objects. Now, as you can see, it's right on top of the heart shape at the moment, so I need to move it around. Well, the way I move it around is I go into edit mode, and I either need to move it to the right or the left. I suspect I've got to move it to the left, so I've just dragged the red arrow there, and you can see what that's done is moved it away from the heart. Now I've got some overlap there, but I'm going to leave that at the moment. I might come back to that. It just depends how much space my final object, my Capricorn zodiac pattern, takes up. So the next thing I'm going to do is to append that. So I'm going to just show you where it is again. So it's astrological symbol, and we're going to append this Capricorn pattern. Now there are two of them, one with a box around it, one without. I'm going to append this one here, so it's Zodiac Capricorn pattern 001. So go to File and Append. Just go up through the menu system until you get to the Groups folder. We're looking for astrological patterns. I want Capricorn pattern 001. I don't want 001A. And I want the object, and I just append that from the library. So there's my Capricorn pattern. Now the orientation of this is really important. So first of all, R on the keyboard, X and 90 to orientate it like that. Let's just go to view and front view again, and we just scale it down and remember to do Control A and apply the scale. And if I just switch off the snap, I could just drag that down a little bit there, and I'll just switch the snap back on. Now remember that this is the orientation of the Capricorn pattern, so if I just go to Curve Modifier and just wrap it around the center of the charm, this is now the wrong way round. The kind of V section should be on the left, here it's on the right. So what you must always do when you use this curve modifier like this is you just go to top view, go into edit mode with the tab key, press A to highlight all the control points, and rotate about the Z axis, RZ 180, and that's just flip the thing around, so it's the other way round now. And come out of edit mode, and then you can set the object, curve object, to the center of the charm, and you can see the orientation is now correct. So that's an important point. Now we want to move this around here, and so we go into edit mode again, and I suspect I move this one to the right. If you're not sure which way, you just play around moving it to the left and the right, and you can see I've positioned it there. Now I've probably moved that a little bit too far, so I'll just pull it back a little bit. Okay, so I've got a gap there, but that's all right. I'll leave that gap, I think, and I've got my A there overlapping. Yeah, that's okay. Now you can obviously adjust these and size them and position them as you want, but I'm quite happy with that. Now, we can't simply join these objects together as curves, because if we do that, they will take on the properties of the last object we select. So if we highlight each of these three patterns first of all and join them together, that'll probably be sort of okay, because they've all got the same thickness. But if I then join them to the charm in the middle, that's this object, they'll all become 1 millimeter round, and I don't want to do that. So the way to join these objects, and particularly when you've got modifiers as well, is change them all into meshes first of all. So go to Tools, Object Tools, convert the Capricorn pattern to a mesh. Highlight the heart, go to Tools, Object Tools, convert that to a mesh. Highlight the Herrington font, convert that to a mesh. Highlight the charm in the middle, the original object, and convert that to a mesh. Hold down the Shift key, highlight all four objects, so I've just clicked the Herrington font, the Capricorn and the heart, and then simply go to Tools, Object Tools and join. Now because these were parametric smart objects to start off with, that will be okay. I know it's not the... so what you need to do now is export this. And I export it generally as a wavefront object. I exported it to the desktop and I saved it with the name Personalised Capricorn Heart Charm. I did this earlier. And then what you must do is you must go to Netfab Basic and open up the object there and run the repair procedure and automatic repair and execute it. And you'll see that these values are all set to 0 by Netfab, and apply the repair and remove the old part. And so you can see there's the Capricorn pattern, there's my heart, there's my Herrington font letter A and my charm in the middle, and then you just go to Part, Export, Wavefront Object, and as you can see I saved it earlier as a Personalised Capricorn Heart Charm, which I then uploaded to Showbase. Okay, so literally any of these patterns that are available with Fluid Designer, you can add to your charm in a similar sort of way. So that's how you can do it. Working in Fluid Designer for 3D printing, creating your own personalised charms. Thank you.